Hey, everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to PHLY Flyers, presented by Bet365. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games. I am your travel agent for the evening. Having no grasp on geography, I have booked Charlie's flights, apparently. Joining me live in the Xfinity studio, it is Broad Street Hockey's own Kelly Hinkle. Charlie on the Xfinity mobile call-in line is going to be joining us like halfway through the show. I'm sorry, you just said that Charlie flew. He was in Montreal.
Yeah.
He's going to Buffalo via Washington, D.C.?
Yeah, that makes sense, right? You go from Montreal, which is
He could have walked.
which is like a 30-second flight away from Buffalo, and what you want to do is you want to go all the way to DC.
We
and
went to
then go back
Montreal in the
Buffalo.
spring, and that flight from here is like 90 minutes.
It's one of those ones where it's like they can't do
like
Bev service because it's too short.
The plane was like smaller than this room.
Yeah.
And we got there in about 90 minutes.
Yeah.
The flight from Montreal to Buffalo has to
10 seconds.
You don't even get to 15,000 feet. I'm gonna get.
That's why you can't go direct, because the plane can't get high enough.
You'll get sucked into the.
I don't know how planes work.
Yeah, the Niagara Falls will just take the plane. It's a Bermuda truck. Anyway, we'll get to Charlie around 4:30. He'll join us. All sorts of things to talk about today. There is the Tyson Foerster news. We'll get to that. Right now, I got to tell you about hats.
Oh, I love hats.
We're selling hats, baby. Listen, it's been a while since we have had an update of the hat selection, but it has come and they are shipping right now. You can get yours at allphly.com. Click that merch tab. A whole bunch of different designs to choose from. Obviously, I want you to get the Flyers one, but all these pretty freaking cool. So check them out, allphly.com. Click that merch tab. All right. It's time for the big deal presented by Cherry Hill Jeep, Kelly, and the big deal is Tyson Foerster out for presumably the rest of the season.
He'll be back in time for the Stanley Cup Finals, William, which obviously the Flyers will play.
His Tyson Foerster's original timetable for the arm, shoulder, elbow, whatever injury he has was 2 to 3 months. We were thinking, all right, maybe out of the Olympic break, which would be the last week, I think the 25th of February. Doesn't look like that's the case now. 5 months now that he has underwent surgery. We thought maybe rest and rehab would get the job done, but as the Flyers announced, further medical consultation and diagnostic testing showed that he required surgery, and he's going to be out 5 months because of it. I guess guys just don't want to undergo surgery.
I get it.
And maybe there's a certain amount of, okay, the injury happened, I think, on December 1st.
And it was
maybe you need some swelling and some stuff to go down before you get the full extent of the injury. Yeah, he was teeing up a one-timer the shift after scoring a goal. And
it's so
weird. I guess it just pulled away. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but this is the big deal here. And, Charlie's published a story on it. Jordan Hall's published a story on it. Everyone. This is the big deal today. And, of course, it's our big deal. Does this change the way the Flyers, in your mind, should go about replacing him? Because the original idea was, all right, we're going to give Gulbenkian first crack. Because why wouldn't we? He's been here. We haven't been able to get him the kind of minutes we want to. And suddenly, here's that opportunity. Top 9 opportunity opens up. Here you go, Gulbenkian. Didn't go so well.
Yep.
The Cates, Brink, Gulbenkian line was underwater in terms of chances and shot attempts and all that stuff. So Carl Grundstrom gets a crack. And he does better. He was pretty good. When they flip-flop he and Michkov. Michkov is then with the Cates line. And, okay, Carl Grundstrom representing himself pretty well, if not his future in Philadelphia, at least his NHL future.
Yeah.
Looks brighter than it did when the Sharks said, yeah, give us that guy who doesn't play anymore. We'll continue to pay him if you just take Carl Grundstrom off our hands. Good for him. But now it's, all right, this is probably the rest of the season. If the Flyers make the playoffs and go on a little run or something, maybe he could actually be that Mark Stone comparable we've been talking about, Oh, yeah, he's healthy all of a sudden. Look at us adding one of our best players at the for the postseason. But in all likelihood, Tyson Foerster will be back next season.
year.
Next season for this team. So
Great.
instead of like just trying different guys and seeing if anything works for the short term or short-ish term, is it like, all right, it's bump time?
Well, here's the thing. Grundstrom is great that's a great fourth line player.
Yeah.
Take Delorier out of the mix. You put Grundstrom there. The fourth line is suddenly a little bit effective. Like, it was pretty much instant. They took Delorier out. They put Grundstrom on. They scored a goal. Like, he works there. He's not Tyson Foerster level talented. And if Tyson Foerster is going to be gone for the entire season, you got to at least try to replace Tyson Foerster level talent with something resembling that. And do we know if Alex Bump is that? We do not. But I would wager that he's probably closer to it than Carl Grundstrom. So why not call him up, see what happens? If it doesn't work, you just send him back. No harm, no foul. But I would at least like to see them try to replace some of that actual production with an effective player.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at now. We talked to Charlie about this a little last night, and his thinking is still maybe Alex Bump after Christmas. You keep giving Grundstrom. You don't demote Grundstrom after success, I guess, but it just feels as if now you want to take Delorier out. Personally, I'd rather Hathaway come out of the lineup.
Well, yeah. I mean, I can't really argue with you there.
But honestly, I would be fine with Grundstrom and two totally new fourth liners.
That's true.
Whether they call up Carson Dorward or something, or just go trade for a fourth line center, because it does sound like they're in the market for a depth center to help this team a little bit. Rodrigo Abels hasn't exactly stood out in his time on that line. Whatever they do, I do think if this is all right, this is the season. And a top 9 spot is now opened for the entire year. No, Alex Bump did not impress us enough in training camp. It was a disappointment.
Yeah.
But he has been really, really good for the Phantoms, especially since a slow start. Alex Bump has 19 points in 25 AHL games. Good, but not like, oh my God, he's destroying it.
Yeah, no, not life-changing.
But in his first 8 games, he had 1 goal, 2 assists. One of the one goal and one of those 2 assists happened in the same game. So first 8 games, he was very, very subpar, at least in terms of point production. Last 17 games, 16 points. That's exactly what you're looking for. It would be nice if he had a few more goals, but honestly, another week, maybe the Disney on Ice trip, and I am ready for the Alex Bump experience. The only reason I'm even pushing it that far is because I have heard Matty Campbell say, like, yeah, he's doing well. He could be better, though. Like, he could use a little bit more. But honestly, at this point, if the idea is to do this develop as we go, we're going to win games and develop guys. And it's important that the young players play in meaningful games. Let them do it here. I am all for Alex Bump figuring this thing out on the third line at the NHL level while Tyson Foerster's out, now that there is no longer the possibility of Tyson Foerster coming back and having to figure out what you do with Bump.
Yeah, I was going to say you guys should see if you could get Maddie on the Xfinity mobile call-in line.
I do want to have Maddie soon. That's been a plan for like a week. I just got to like call her.
Yeah, there's nobody better qualified to tell us whether or not Alex Bump should come up or not. But even if he weren't lighting the world, like even if he wasn't doing great in the AHL, like there's only so many players down there right now that we're thinking are probably going to be NHL players. There's some that we are pretty much know that they are. Like it seems like Denver Barkey is kind of like, yeah, that dude's going to play in the NHL and he's probably going to be okay at it. Bump is a question mark, but it's a question mark where I feel like you can make an educated guess on it that he probably could be an effective NHLer because we've seen flashes of it.
Yeah.
And I think when you see flashes of it, that means it's in there. And so maybe it needs to be developed. Maybe he is not 100% there yet. But like you said, and like you said 100 times, the NHL is absolutely a development league. Guys develop in the NHL all the time. So bring him up, throw him on the third line with Cates and Brink, and see what happens.
Yeah, and that's I just feel like he has been on a strong enough trajectory over the last few weeks in the AHL that it's really time. You look at a guy like Denver Parkey, he has had hot streaks and cold streaks, a similarly slow start to Alex Bump, and then a really, really good middle portion here. And now he has had, 1 point in his last like 6 or 7 games. Barkey was always going to be a while because he's a guy who has to just based on his size, he has to overprove it.
Yes.
Like, that's just the way it's going to be.
A coach like Taka, let's be serious.
That's the way it's going to be. That is the way the NHL works. You have 2 guys of equal value. If one's bigger than the other, you're always going to take the bigger guy. If the smaller guy is slightly better than the bigger guy,
maybe
you are going to take the bigger guy still.
Yeah, right.
A lot of times. He is a guy who's going to have to overprove it, and he is a guy who has to reshape his game a little. Coming from where he came from, juniors, and the organization he was with, he was on an all-star team. The London Knights were freaking good. A lot of first-round picks, a lot of future NHLers on that team where they were able to play a more deliberate Morgan Frost style. All right, nothing's there, circle back and regroup and then attack. They were the team that teams had to pick up the pace against. They could dictate and go a little slower. And so he's just going to have to, it's going to be a little while for Barkey.
Yes.
That is a thing where he's going to have to prove it. Bump, I think his style just translates more. We've talked about this since we were watching him in the Frozen Four. I don't see why he can't be this replacement now when you don't really have the best options in the world. It would be cool if it was Gurbenkin. If Gurbenkin all of a sudden gets a shot in the top 9 and his line is really good, sure, let Bump marinate.
Sure.
But that wasn't the case.
Happening, right.
And Carl Grundstrom, really good story, cool. I want him on, if he's here, fourth liner, and he's 28. He's not part of the future here.
Also, like, you're not asking Alex Bump to come up here and be a first-line winger. Like,
Yeah.
we're asking him for third-line minutes. Like, I don't think it's a crazy idea to call him up and see what happens. I would really be surprised if they're going to keep Carl Grundstrom as a top 6 forward for some appreciable length of time. It just seems like a very silly idea to me.
It does seem like something you wouldn't want to do for any length of time. Now, hey, maybe he proves us all wrong, and this isn't just the I got called up, I got that extra spring in my step little hot streak he's on, and he can maintain this level of production. That would be really cool. That would be cool for him, and hey, it would be cool for the Flyers because I know they're not like crazy about the idea of selling Aristo or selling, maybe because of the injuries they would, but selling a Dvorak because they don't want to be in subtraction mode. But Carl Grundstrom has literally found money.
Yeah.
Like, if some team wanted to give you something for him at the deadline, you absolutely do that, 100%. But we'll see where that goes. But right now, the news is, man, this Tyson Foerster injury.
Sucks, dude.
Getting back to just Foerster himself before we take our first break. I saw a couple people say this, and like I push back against the notion that he's injury prone because prior to this season, he'd missed pretty much no NHL time in his career. Let's see here. Tyson Foerster, in his first 2 full years of NHL games, played 77 and 81 games.
That's
6 games in 2 seasons. That's 3 a year. That's basically missing no time.
Pretty much.
I'm not going to say he's injury prone, but now having injured the same body part a couple of times and his shot being such a weapon.
Yep.
I know we're trying to fight against the creeping
Intrusive
negativity
thoughts,
and the intrusive thoughts that come up with just being a Philadelphia and Philadelphia Flyers fan specifically. We've seen it a little with Austin Matthews. Oh, man, this guy can freaking shoot. He's had some issues. Not quite the goal scorer he once was now. Do you have that fear with Tyson Foerster?
You know I do.
Did I just put it in your head?
No. I feel like...
Well, now I do. Thanks, Bill. Not going to sleep tonight.
All right. I feel like anytime pretty much any player injures the same body part more than once, that's when you start to be like, ooh, this is going to be a problem. Like, it's like Airson with the groin. Like, if Airson had several different injuries, maybe you're not so worried about it. But you're
it's like, oh, he got hit in the head. He had to miss a game because that's protocol. And one time he banged his elbow. Like, but it's every time it's lower body out a few days.
Right. And what's the most important part of a goalie's game? It's stretching your legs out and working your groin. So that's a problem. And with Tyson Foerster, like you said, the most important thing about him is that shot. And if his arm don't work.
And like he got hurt taking a shot,
which is just, I don't understand how it happens. We're calling it hockey Tommy John at Broad Street Hockey. So maybe that's what happened. I don't even know what Tommy John is. I just know that pitchers get it when they throw their arm too hard.
It's I don't. It's UCL injury. It's basically like elbow connecting to. I don't know.
But it's just such a freak injury, and the fact that he's going to be out so long, so it's obviously serious, and then he's going to have to rehab it, and then it's like, what does the shot look like after he rehabs it? Does he have limitations after? Like, there's so many question marks now, and like you said, like, dude was trending towards Mark Stone land. Like, that's where we were headed with him. It really seemed that way.
You see the defensive metrics. You see the scoring upside. He looked like he was on pace for a special season and a special career. Not saying it can't happen now. It's just one of those, all right, let's see what he is when he comes back. It's definitely put the thought in my head that didn't exist before, especially now that it's, like, 8 weeks of rest and rehab and then a little time to get back in shape and he'll be good. Now it's not that.
Right.
It's, we'll see you in September. That's a little concerning.
God, it's so long.
Yeah, it's a while from now. And with that, listen, we have plenty more to get to. I want to talk about the power play and its lack of
power.
Yeah, lack of power. Matvei Michkov's line mates. Charlie's going to be checking in soon, but right now, we've got to take our first break. If you are looking for a Jeep or Ram truck, there's only one dealership in South Jersey who has been the market leader since 1967, and that's our friends at Cherry Hill Jeep at cherryhilljeep.com, because they've got you covered on the best selection and, more importantly, the best prices. You can slide into a 2025 Jeep Wrangler this month for $289 a month. Every Wrangler delivers strong drivetrains, innovative engineering, and quality components that underpin this icon's legendary heritage, and lease payments with $0 down, available, and finance options for all credit over $350 on vehicles in stock. So stop in today and tell them PHLY sent you and receive $1,000 off any new car, an additional $2,000 for your trade-in. I know people buy Jeeps and Ram trucks elsewhere. I just don't know why. Drive home in your new Jeep or Ram truck today. Just minutes from all bridges are available online 24/7 at cherryhilljeep.com. And whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. From their 90 million users worldwide to their almost 800,000 live stream events each year and the 78 different sports you can bet on live in game. All sorts of great reasons to use Bet365, but my favorite is the early payout offer, because with the Bet365 NHL early payout offer, you're a winner. If your team gains a 3-goal lead, you get an instant payout on straight bets, and your parlay selections are marked as winners. It's that easy. And we have breaking news from our friends at Bet365. New customers now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5, win or lose. Just sign up, use code PHLY365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, whether your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus and in PA. If you or someone who knows a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, Hinkle. That's the Tyson Foerster conversation today. It is just a bummer. Honestly,
I hate it.
We have been waiting for this version of Tyson Foerster, and we started to see it at the end of last season. And the end of last season was weird. After Tortorella gets fired, you're like,
there was a bump.
All right, they're not playing any defense. Yeah, guys are scoring, but what does that really mean if they're not like playing real hockey? And then he picks up right where he left off, basically. After a couple of slow starts to seasons, he got off to a very fast start this year, despite getting hurt at World Championships. And now, another setback.
It's a
So
bummer.
we'll see where this goes. But I want to just talk about the team as a whole for a second. So they're 17-9-6, which is, you look at, oh, really good. They're also 17-15 if you just go by wins loss. But it's a 625 points percentage. By total points, they are third in the Metro, second by points percentage, fourth in the conference, second by points percentage still, and ninth in the NHL, sixth by points percentage. They are a top 10, if not top 5 team in basically all statistical, at least standings categories.
Fake.
Are they actually good, though?
God, that's a good question. It's just
like they are the second best team in the East by points percentage.
so here's okay. So if this was another team, like remember when like the Islanders or the Capitals, when you looked at them on paper before the season, you were like, man, that's not a team. And then they kept winning, and you're like, nah, this is gonna fall apart any second now. I don't know how they're doing it. And then they just kept doing it. The Flyers, are the Flyers that team now? The team that other fans are looking at them and they're going, no, they're not good. They stink. There's no way they're going to keep this up. But they keep keeping it up. And at a certain point, you're like, well, maybe they are good.
Like
I don't know.
we're halfway through December now, and we all saw how this thing fell apart a few years ago. But extenuating circumstances there are it was mostly goaltending.
Yeah.
And the number one goaltender went away. I don't know if Dan Vladar can continue doing what he's doing, but there are no signs he can't. This isn't like he's making all these crazy saves or he's getting all these posts, or he's just playing very well.
Yeah.
The workload does concern me, and I do think they're going to have to start working Harrison in, as they have a little bit more, so that they can lean on Vladar down the stretch. But if Vladar and Zegras continue doing what they're doing, grading on the curve of this is the Eastern Conference and the last place team is 500 and they just fired their GM.
Yeah.
Like we have to look at it in terms of what the level of competition is.
Yes.
Could they be doing this out West?
No.
Probably not. It would be much more difficult.
Yes.
But this is the conference they're in, and grading on that curve, I do think this is kind of real.
Okay, it's just like the Flyers fan inside of me is like too scared to acknowledge that it might be real. Like I don't want to be like, yeah, man, this team rules. And then in 2 months they're smacking me in the face like they always do. And people are telling me I'm an idiot for thinking that they're good. But you watch these games and for the most part, they're fun to watch. They have players with actual skill now. They're not just like grinding out wins just by working harder than other teams. Like we have guys with talent, which it's been since primetime Claude Giroux that we've had a guy with actual talent. Now we have a goaltender that's actually functional. We have a coach that seems to be working. I guess the players like him, so that's good. But I don't know if I'm ready to believe.
Yeah, and that's the belief thing, because okay, we can grade on the scale of, with the curve of this is the Eastern Conference, this is what it is. That also means when you get into the playoffs, say they make it.
Yeah.
Say they maintain this, they're third in the division or they're the top wild card, whatever. Anyone can beat anyone.
Yep.
And even if they are third in the division, they'll probably lose in 6, because that's like.
So here's the thing, though.
That's just the most likely outcome.
When I think about that, I just feel like once the game switches to playoff mode, which is for whatever reason, the NHL insists on making it a completely different game once we switch to playoff mode. If Vladar is still looking like this guy, and you've got like a healthy Ristolainen, and you've got Nick Seeler, and you've got the guys that can do the tough defense, and they can do the smashing, and they can do the grinding it out, and then you've got Zegras scoring, and maybe Michkov's come on, like, could they win a round? Like, I don't think it's out of the question. I think that there are several teams in the Eastern Conference that in a 7-game series, I would look at it and be like, I could see the Flyers taking it.
Right now, they would be up against the New York Islanders.
Oh, I think they could do that.
The Islanders and the Flyers have very, very similar results this season.
Yeah.
Flyers ahead by points percentage. New York has 2 more games played and 1 more point. So by total points, they're ahead. But right now, Flyers have a little bit better of a points percentage. Goal differential, Flyers are +6, Isles are +7. Regulation wins, 10 for the Flyers, 13 for the Isles. Like, it's very much 2 very even teams. And if Vladar could outduel Sorokin, I don't see why not. That's a tall task, but
Yeah. I mean,
maybe it comes down to who has home ice or anything
Yeah.
like that. But I don't think it's crazy, like you just said. Yeah, it's likely they lose in 6, but honestly, it could be a coin flip. First round between the 2-3, say it's the Flyers and Isles. Now, Washington's been heating up.
Yeah.
I got to believe, are going to get one of these top 3 spots.
Seems like
that
it.
changes things. If you're a wild card team, you run into the Panthers or the Hurricanes. Like, Flyers have a really hard time with the Hurricanes.
Sure
they
do.
just can't beat them. Like, so that could be a difficult thing. But
Yeah.
right now, it's not crazy to think they could win a round. And I'm still like, are they good?
I know. And the
Yeah.
question mark, the Foerster thing definitely throws a wrench in.
It does.
Because
that does hurt long term, especially when you look ahead to the spring.
that's something they're going to have to figure out how to replace. I don't know how they do that. They probably will need to go get a depth center somewhere.
It sounds like they're in the market.
And it seems like that's what they're trying to do. So if you can bring in an effective center to kind of bolster them down the middle, if you can find something to replace Foerster that's like, maybe like half of a Tyson Foerster production-wise, and Cates and Brink can maybe pick it up a little bit to carry that line, maybe you can make something out of that. I don't know. There's definitely a lot of what ifs, but looking at the team and the way that they're performing and looking at the Eastern Conference, which is pretty much trash, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that they win 1 round. I don't think it's crazy.
I don't think so either.
Oh, sorry. Is Charlie here?
No. I'm just gonna throw to ads, and
Oh.
then we'll talk to Charlie. On the other side, it will be Charlie O'Connor joining us on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line. But first, I got to tell you about Aura Frames. Listen, if you're a last-minute shopper like me, you know the feeling. You have great ideas. You really want to get someone that special, someone that perfect gift, and then the shelves are empty, your ideas are running low, and you end up with a whole bunch of gift cards, and that doesn't feel personal. Well, I have the gift for you. It is the Aura Frame. The Aura Frame is the perfect gift for anybody. I got one for my parents this year. You can upload unlimited photos and videos by just downloading the app and connecting to Wi-Fi. So even my technologically impaired parents can use it. And you can preload photos before it ships, so you can keep adding from anywhere, anytime. You can't wrap togetherness, but you can frame it. For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames, named #1 by Wirecutter. All you gotta do is use promo code PHLY at checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code PHLY. This deal is exclusive to our listeners, and frames sell out fast. So order yours now and get it in time for the holidays, and support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. And now it's game time, because the World Cup is coming to North America for the first time since '94, and big sports fans in Philly are not going to want to be shut out of this incredible event. And the best way to get in, it's by using Game Time. Game Time is my favorite secondary ticket marketplace, because they take all the guesswork out by showing you the all-in pricing. The fees are included, so you know your total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. And you can save even more when you choose a section and let Game Time choose the seats with their zone deals. So take the guesswork out of buying soccer tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHLY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code PHLY for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today. And with that, we are joined by Philadelphia's #1 hockey beat writer, Charlie O'Connor, on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line. Charlie.
Chuck.
Did you fly from Montreal to D.C. to Buffalo? Did that happen?
Sure did.
I don't have a great grasp on geography. That seems a little indirect, but
Yeah, it's real dumb that I had to do that. But for whatever reason, I'm not sure if there are no direct flights from Montreal to Buffalo or if there are just very, very few, so the prices are insane. But when I booked, there was basically nothing. Like, it wasn't just me. Jackie Spiegel of the Inquirer, she had to fly to Toronto and then drive from Toronto to Buffalo. So I'm not the
That
only
may have been
crazy one.
faster.
Yeah.
But anyway, Charlie, we have a lot to discuss with you. We've been discussing a few things. I posed the question to Kelly that you posed to me the other day. Are they actually good? And I'm looking at it right now. They're third in the Metro, second by points percentage, fourth in the East, second by points percentage, ninth in the NHL, sixth by points percentage. Now, we're grading on the curve of this is the Eastern Conference, and like everyone's just kind of meh. But man, I'm thinking this team could make and even win a round in the playoffs. Are you of that
Wow.
belief that based
Wha-
on just
wha-
based on the Eastern Conference and nothing else, they are as good as basically anyone not named Tampa or Carolina?
I don't know if I go that far. Like, this is still a team that if you look at their underlying 5-on-5 metrics, they are mid. They are sub 50%. That's not where you want to be if you have designs on going far in the playoffs. Their power play is still bad and seemingly getting worse. Their penalty kill
We'll
is
talk
not
about
as
that.
good as it's not as good as it looked in the beginning of the year. I think it's fine, but it's not a top 5 unit like it looked for the first, 5-6 weeks of the season. They're not a bad team. I'm fairly confident they're not a bad team. I'm fairly confident they are going to hang around all year and be in the playoff mix, whether they make it or they don't. I'm not sure. I think it's going to be tight all the way. But I'm not ready to say that they are really good because I see enough red flags in their statistical profile, and quite frankly, just when I watch them, to think that I wouldn't put them on that level. Like, they can be good for periods at a time. They're having trouble stringing that together, and they're doing well enough to get a lot of loser points. They're doing well enough to have a good points percentage, but they're not doing well enough for me to be like, yeah, I think they're going to win a playoff round this year. I'm not there yet.
I mean, right now they'd be matched up with the Islanders. I expect
They can do
Washington to
that,
get one of
Charlie.
these top 3 spots. Maybe the Devils make their comeback, but who knows? Jack Hughes could sneeze and break some ribs, and we never see him again. Like, I can't count on the Devils to do anything because they're the freaking Devils. If they're in a first round matchup with the Islanders, that's a coin flip. Who the hell knows?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Those aren't. It's two I don't know, pretty decent-ish teams. Like, that's kind of what the East is this year. Anyway, the big news today: Tyson Foerster originally announced 2 to 3 month timetable for his return. We were thinking, all right, maybe that first game out of the Olympic break, we could see him again somewhere around that time. And now it's, yeah, you ain't going to be seeing him until September. What was your reaction when you saw he underwent surgery and he's actually out 5 months now?
I mean, what my reaction was, I had just landed in Washington, D.C., and I get my internet back on my phone, and 45 minutes before that, they had announced the Forest news, and it was like, oh, great. Now I got to write more. Wonderful. My reaction in terms of what it means for the Flyers is that it hurts. It obviously hurts. I think, honestly, my first reaction was I just feel bad for Forrester because he was on track for what looked like was going to be his breakthrough season, his breakout season, 30-plus goals, the season that we were expecting him to have at some point. And it just got killed by this injury, a pretty fluky injury. I also, and this is something I'm going to try to do some digging on over the next few days while I'm on this trip, like, I worry a bit about Forrester. Not because I'm worried about him as a player, but he's now had 2 significant surgeries, and it appears to be on the same arm. Now, I don't think that it's the same issue, but you don't, like, there's a reason why players, and you hear this all the time in baseball, where fans say this, and I get it, when a guy, like with Andrew Painter, like when Andrew Painter, his elbow started acting up, and then they're like, well, he's not going to have surgery, and then 3 months later, like, all right, he's going to have surgery, and fans are like, well, why the heck didn't he just have the surgery when the thing first flared up to begin with? And the reality is that you don't want to go under the knife. you'd rather not have surgery because there are inherent risks that come with surgery. And it also like could shrink your career. It could make it so a 15-year career is an 11-year career because you age quicker, because the surgery comes with it's functionally surgery is damage. Like you are doing purposeful damage to someone's body. So players of all sports try to avoid it. I'm sure Tyson Foerster was trying to avoid it. Now he has to have it. And that it doesn't make me think like, oh God, you got to trade him. Now he's injury prone and he's going to have, arm, shoulder problems for the rest of his career. But it does increase the risk level a bit. It does make me worry a little bit more about his ability to stay healthy over the long term. And for a guy who I do view as a core piece of this team moving forward, I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to hear that he had to go under the knife again. What I had heard a month ago was that they were happy he wasn't going to have to. Clearly something changed, and that's a bummer.
Charlie, thinking about like the idea of, oh, well, it could take a 15-year career, make it 11, like that's long-term thinking right now. My big concern is Tyson Foerster has a serious weapon with his shot. We saw it on the shift prior to this injury, him scoring a goal, and he gets hurt, teeing up a one-timer. My concern in the short to medium term with him is now, is he going to be that same type of weapon? Is he going to have that same ability, that same release, whether it's a slap shot or a wrist shot, to beat goalies clean like we've seen him do, really, especially like since the Tortorella firing through this injury, really coming into his own as a goal scorer? Do you have that same concern? I used Austin Matthews as the reference. Like, yeah, man, couple of injuries. He just doesn't look like the same goal scorer. Do you have that concern?
Yeah, to a degree. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to pretend that I know how this is going to play out. But yeah,
yes, you are.
Yeah, I am. But yeah, when a guy has when a guy has a plus skill set, a plus skill, and then he injures a body part that is involved with making that a plus skill, you worry. Now, I believe that we've had a lot of medical advances in general in society over the last 10, 20 years that make me more confident than I would have been in the mid-90s that Tyson Foerster will be able to get over this and still have a plus shooting ability. But I would be lying to you if the thought didn't cross my mind that, oh, I really hope he comes back the same shooter that he was pre-surgery.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's really the Foerster of all of this. We are going to actually, let's just do it now. This is the Ace Hardware Home Services temperature check. Let's take a look at which Flyers player is heating up or cooling off with our Ace Hardware temp check. Visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project. And we're not going to look at an individual, although one individual is going to come up in this conversation.
I wonder who.
It's not even the guy you're thinking of. Oh. This is the Flyers power play that Charlie alluded to. Man, full season, 15.9%. They were 18.4 through the first 27 games. They have gotten worse and worse each month as the season has gone on. They're 0 for 13 over their last 6 games. They're the only team without a power play goal since December 7th. And each month, you see how it has gone down the percentage. They are 5 for 45 since November 6th.
That seems bad.
That seems real bad, Charlie. What do you think the issue is? Like, I'm looking at the power play points leaders, and it's like, all right, there's Zegras with 11, and then like the next 2 guys, Konechny and York, like combined, basically have the same number as he does. Zegras is getting his on the power play, but everyone else seems to just continue to be mid in this realm of the game. What is the issue? Because I really thought we were starting to see this thing come around at some point.
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask Charlie before you answer, like specifically as the guy in the room here that gets to actually watch all of the practices, like, have you noticed something different from the beginning of the season to now that would kind of like help to explain what's happening here? Because it's fallen off so much.
No, but I think the explanation for why it's fallen off is pretty easy, and it's that in the beginning of the year, it's just sloppier. teams aren't as locked into their systems, and it's easier for a power play when you have one more guy than the other team, and the other team's already not quite, fine-tuned their penalty kill structure and whatnot, and some guys are playing themselves into shape, some guys are, whatever, they're just not in sync yet. I think it's easier to score, and then as the year goes on, it becomes more difficult to score. But if you're asking me what I think the problem is on the power play, I think there's three problems, really, that I would identify. One is an execution problem. One is a coaching problem, and one is a inherent structural problem. The execution problem, and this is what you hear when you talk to Flyers coaches on the record, they bring this up, is that they don't feel like the players are using the middle of the ice enough. They don't think they're using that guy in the bumper enough, that they're getting kept to the flanks too much, that they're being too much of a perimeter power play. And that's what they're trying to drill into the players' heads. And you watch it, I don't think they're wrong. Like, this has been a perimeter power play this year too often. When they've gotten the middle guy involved and when they've gotten more motion involved, they've looked better. You're seeing that less and less over the last few weeks. So I do think the coaches have a point about that. The number two is the coaching issue, which I think, I just don't like these combos. I don't think these combos are that good. They had a brief period where they went with the let's have zegras and Michkov on the same power play. But even then they didn't have York on that power play, partially because he was hurt. To me, just stack the power play with your best guys. And look, I get that Tockett's concerned about them giving up odd man rushes. He felt like they gave up too many shorthanded odd man rushes in preseason and then in the beginning of the season. But to me, that's a price you pay to get some friggin' power play goals. Yeah, that's a problem, but I'd rather have the goals first and then worry about cleaning up the other stuff rather than worry about cleaning that up before you get the goals. So that's a coaching decision issue that I have a problem with. Then the third issue, which is just an inherent structural problem, and this is what people in the organization will tell you off the record when they're not being quoted, they lack that guy up top. They really think it's a major issue that they don't have that defenseman up top who either is an elite distributor or brings a heavy shot that would take pressure off the guys on the flanks. And that's an issue. And that's an issue that you're not going to resolve overnight. You just got to go out and find that guy. Whether they thought Drysdale was going to be that guy, he hasn't been that guy to this point in his career. I don't know if it's ever going to come. Maybe it will. I didn't think the defensive game was ever going to come with Drysdale, and it eventually did. It did in a big way. So maybe he can develop that. But at this point, the reason why they're talking about we got to try Ristolainen up there, it's entirely because it's a last resort. And yeah, I've heard he has a heavy shot. They are grasping at straws here to solve that problem. I think their best fit right now is York, but I think York is ideally a power play 2 guy, and they're lacking that power play 1 guy. That's why I was crossing my fingers that they were going to find a way to get a Quinn Hughes deal done, because that would have obviously solved that problem. He's one of the 3 best power play quarterbacks in the NHL. That ship has sailed. So that's an issue where
for now,
yeah, it's a problem. And it's a problem that isn't going to be fixed probably this year, but I do think is on their radar as yeah, we've identified this as a big reason why the power play might have a ceiling that doesn't go above 21%. And if we want to be better than that, we better get that guy.
To Charlie's point about fearing the odd man rushes and stuff, 6 of the top 10 power plays in hockey have given up 3 or more shorthanded goals. Sometimes you got to take risks.
Yes.
And the leaders in the league have given up 5,
risks come
sometimes you got to take a little bit of a risk. I have a couple of questions about the personnel, Charlie. First, why is Tippett on the power play at all?
Great question.
Owen Tippett has 1 power play goal in his last 124 games. He is 3rd among Flyers forwards in power play time going back to March 15th, 2024. He scored 1 power play goal in that time. 8 power play points in that span. We're talking 124 games. Morgan Frost had 7.5 that number of games. Ryan Poehling managed 5 power play points in 41 minutes of power play ice time. Why is Owen Tippett on the power play at all?
Well, the reason why he's on the power play is because they look at his skill set and they see a guy who should be good on the power play. Now, just because you should be good at something doesn't mean that you are good at something. You know, there are tons of things where you're like, yeah, like Jamie Drysdale should be a great power play quarterback, and he just hasn't been. Just because you should be good at something doesn't mean you are, but they believe that his skill set should make him at least a solid power play option. That's why they keep giving him the minutes, because they're hoping that at some point it clicks and he realizes how to take advantage of his shooting ability, his skating ability on entries, his the passing ability that he flashes. It's not all the time, but he does show it. He shows an ability that we saw it last night. He had that great pass to Carl Grundstrom. Like, he can pass well. He just doesn't do it as often as you want him to do it, but it's there. That's why they keep putting him on the power play. But look, Bill, I'm with you. The production's been bad, and this is where I do think that the Foerster injury really hurts you.
Yes.
Because, like, Foerster's the obvious guy where you're like, well, instead of Tippett, let's just use Foerster in that role. Well, now Tyson Foerster's gone for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So now you're stuck kind of like trying to force a square peg into a round hole with Tippett and just hoping the light bulb turns on for him at some point on the power play. Like, I hope it does, because, again, the skill set seems to lend itself to being a good power play player. But you're right. For the last year and change, he hasn't been.
And it also hurts you because my ideal power play, based on what they have right now, Charlie, it's 4 left-handed shooters and then Travis Konechny. I want to go Dvorak, Zegras, Michkov, Konechny, York. Is that too left-handed? Like, is there a reason they wouldn't do that, and it's because it's too left-handed?
I meed it is heavy on the left-handers. I think, here's the thing. I think you can make that work, but you have to incorporate a lot of motion. Like, you have to get people moving into different spots and a lot of set plays. And while they've shown at times this year that they have the ability to use motion, it hasn't been nearly as consistent as you want it to be, nearly as consistent as the best power plays. I think you can make that work. I do. But maybe they're not quite ready yet from a, like, grasping the concepts of this power play system to be able to take full advantage of, like, making something like that work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Last thing here, Charlie, and then we will let you go and get to our final break. How'd you like Michkov with Cates and Brink last night? I know we talked about it briefly on postgame, but those are a couple of guys he just hasn't spent a ton of ice time with. We did see him briefly with Couturier and Brink. He really hasn't played with Cates at all, but you look at, you know, the goals assisted by and assists to goal scorers. That's the second time he and Brink have connected, maybe third time overall they've connected in terms of creating points together in the last, season and a half. What did you think of them as a line?
I mean, I wouldn't say I was underwhelmed. I thought they were meh, except for obviously the goal they score, which is in large part gift wrapped to them by Jacob Fowler, just like turning off his controller seemingly on that play. So it's hard for me to give like an accurate evaluation of how they were. I saw enough to want to keep giving them looks. And look, the Brink Michkov pairing, obviously they connect for the goal last night, but that's one where, look, if you want to have Brink on that line, that's fine. But if you want to replace him with someone else, like, I don't care. I don't need Bobby Brink and Matvei Michkov to try to develop anything. The guy I'm intrigued about on that line with Michkov is Cates, because number one, we haven't seen it. But number two, like, and I've had conversations with a couple players about this. When you talk to them about Noah Cates, the one thing that they bring up that they're like, people don't understand this about Noah, is that, he doesn't score a lot of points, but his offensive zone IQ, and I've had multiple players tell me this, is very good. And the thing with Cates is that he brings that offensive zone IQ along with a willingness to not have to be the guy in the spotlight. Like, he'll be a distributor and he'll be a facilitator and he'll make really smart plays, but there's not that, like, and I don't want to use this word, I don't want to overuse this word, but like, there's not that ego. Like, he doesn't care if he doesn't even get a secondary assist because he's the fourth guy, on the play, but he made the play that allowed it to happen. Like, he made the smart keep. He was the F3 who was able to protect against the pinching defenseman to keep the puck alive. Like, Cates brings that, and I've heard from enough players to believe that it's true. And when you watch him, you can see it. And I'm hoping that maybe, just maybe, he can use that with Michkov, because Michkov obviously does want to be the guy in the spotlight. He wants to be the guy scoring the goals. Maybe there's something there stylistically that they can work through where, Cates can sort of be the unsung hero of that line in the offensive zone and let Michkov shine the way he wants to shine. I'm intrigued by the concept of it. I don't know if it'll work, but I want to see. I want them to give that a few games and see if something pops up between Cates and Michkov, because I think there could theoretically be something there.
This Foerster injury continues to be annoying. Like, you could play either of them on either side because they both have the ability to play their offside or their strong side. It just continues to annoy me, and that's really the biggest problem with it, more than anything else, Charlie, is it personally offends me.
That's the worst part.
Yeah. All right, and that is all the time we have with Charlie O'Connor on the Xfinity mobile call-in line. He'll be joining us from Buffalo for post-game tomorrow night, so make sure you tune in for that. Charlie, talk to you then, my friend.
Bye, Chuck.
Yep. Gonna go have some buffalo wings for dinner.
Oh,
Gotta try buffalo wings while I'm here.
Get some beef on whack, too.
Do.
All right, see you guys.
Slaps.
And with that, we have to take our final break. Everybody's got their favorite hard tea. It's the hot thing right now. You go in the store, you see them everywhere. But have you ever turned the can around to read what's inside? Well, most of the time you can't because they won't tell you. And while others hide what's inside, Crooked Tea brags about it. Crooked Tea brews real USDA organic tea for real flavor with zero sugar. And there's no fake junk hiding behind the label. What you see is what you drink. So next time you're at the store, flip that can. And if you can't find the ingredients, just put it back and grab yourself a Crooked Tea, zero sugar, real tea, fully transparent. You know it, Philly. You recognize real. Why would you drink the fake stuff? Crooked Tea, the only thing better is a strip sack in the Super Bowl. Visit crookedtea.com to find a store near you. Go Birds and let's go Flyers. Now it's time to tell you about Parx Casino, because whether your favorite team wins or not, there's always another way to win on the BetParx online casino app. You got to check out brand new casino games like Huff N' More Puff, Fireblaze, Sky Queen. They have so many different slot machines to choose from. Cash Eruption, 88 Fortune, slots based on your favorite streaming shows like Breaking Bad, Peaky Blinders, The Walking Dead, nostalgic favorites like The Goonies, plus the casino classics. We're talking blackjack, roulette, craps, poker, baccarat, and hot online slots. It's just so many ways to win at BetParx. So go to betparx.com and download the app right now and enjoy all the action and excitement from the casino at your fingertips. You must be 21 and in PA, Jersey, Maryland, or Michigan for BetParx. You love to play. You play to win. You bet. BetParx. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right.
So good at ads.
It's getting better.
It's a talent, folks.
All right. So we have about 8 minutes left, Kelly.
Look at all those super chats.
Yeah, let's
There's
hit the
only
super chats
75
and-
likes. Why are there only 75 likes?
Let's jack these number of likes up.
If you don't like it, we're not going to read your super chats. That's not true. Don't fact check that. But I will threaten you.
The Venn diagram. If you spent the money for
That's
a super
true.
chat, you probably
That's a
hit the
circle.
like.
Yeah.
It's everyone else watching. You're the problem.
Yeah, what's your problem?
Let's get some likes going.
Come on.
All right.
For Christmas.
We have some mailbag questions, but we can save those for Friday in case nothing happens in the game tomorrow. So let's hit the super chats and see what kind of time we have left. Leading off is David Shubs. Says,
Shubster.
I am not one in on bump yet. You gotta dominate first.
Yeah, but what else are we doing?
I mean,
Who else you putting there?
he's over the last
It can't
month.
be Grundle
He's
for
been
long term.
He's been a point a game player in the AHL for the last month. If it's him or Carl Grundstrom on the third line, I'd much rather be seeing Grundstrom on the fourth and Bump getting a chance with either Couturier or Cates or whoever. I just think it fills out the roster better. I think this is that opportunity for him. We saw Alex Bump look decent at the end of the AHL season into the playoffs last year. He had a bit of a slow start, but since then, basically a point a game player. I'm willing to give it like another week or so. Like, I'm not going to just demote Grundstrom when he's been playing well, but one would have to believe this hot streak is going to end soon, Kelly.
You would think. And also, I don't think we're guaranteeing that Alex Bump is the solution to this problem. We're just saying, have a look at it.
And since this problem doesn't become at the end of the year, oh, well, what do you do with him now? Tyson Foerster's back. Do we really want him playing fourth line? Do we really want to send him back down? What kind of message does that send? If you have an opportunity to let him stay, I think it could be really good for him.
Yeah.
All right. Next one is from J.E. Frucione. With the Tyson Foerster injury, do you think that Danny Briere values playoff hockey so much that he'd use assets to get this group to the playoffs to develop this core, or save all the assets for later and let it ride?
I don't think he would spend valuable assets for short-term gain. I think he would spend valuable assets on a player that would improve the team this year, but also is going to be with us
Someone
for a
who
few
comes
years.
with an extension or has
Right.
term left, something like
But I
that.
can't imagine he's going to spend big-time assets just to get them to the playoffs this year.
I would be disappointed if that were
Same.
the case. Now, if it's like
It doesn't seem like
if
his
it's like
MO.
an Adam Yinning and a 4th-round pick,
Yeah, who cares?
yeah, sure. Go
Whatever.
get Nate Thompson or Derek Grant or whatever the 2025 equivalent is of those guys. Sure. But I don't see him doing more than that, you know?
No, I don't think so either.
That just wouldn't make any sense for a short-term ad. I like right now they need a center, but it's legitimately like a 4C, you know? Like that's what they're looking for.
Right, because they're probably not going to find anything better than that on the trade market right now.
Okay.
Unless you can get Tage.
Yeah, listen, if Buffalo's blowing it up again and like
take advantage of
Tortorella,
them.
Yarmo, I think it's going to be Torts. We'll see. Like if they're like, yeah, man, we got to start from scratch. This whole thing's screwed. The culture is non-existent. Like you take advantage of that team. Always take advantage of that team. Call up the dumb team that's willing to give you Tage Thompson.
Yeah.
But if it's like a short-term fix, that's that just doesn't make a ton of sense.
No.
And they always said it's not like this isn't a make playoffs or bust thing.
No.
They want them in the mix, playing important games down the stretch. And if they get in, cool. I can't imagine that changes after, oh, yeah, well, we lost one of our top 6 forwards. Maybe we should try harder to get in the playoffs now.
Yeah.
That would be surprising. All right. Next one here is from Chris Iacone or something. I can't see what that says.
Lancy?
Oh, I was way off. Sorry, Chris. Michkov time on ice theory. Is Michkov to blame as he takes short shifts? First, Montreal, he had one more shift than line mate Brink, yet 2 fewer minutes. Versus Carolina, greater than or equal number of shifts as his line mates. Tip with 2 to 4. That has been a thing. We've pointed it out a few times where he's taken like deliberately short shifts.
As someone who's never played the game, does the player decide when their shift is over?
It depends. Like if you see a spot where you can get off and it's like, all right, play's about to transition the other way and I could be stuck out here for 2 minutes. And Charlie like kind of pointed out a situation a few games ago where he got stuck out there and things went wrong. And so the next game, like his average shift was like 30 or fewer seconds. And it was, he got like the usage that all the guys who played 17 minutes played, but he played 15. Like what happened here? So it varies. But we did see a lot last year. Like he would kind of get scolded for taking longer shifts now and then, and he'd be dog tired at the end of shifts. So it has to do with conditioning a little bit. That is a thing though. He has had games recently where it's like, I don't know, he took a 29-second shift. Like, what's the coach supposed to be like? Get your ass back out there, you know? But overall, I do think he could get a little bit better usage. But the short shifts are a thing. All right, next one from David. Flyers fans won't like it, but you need players like Devo and Grundle. Need to restock the 4th line more than they need to get rid of solid depth players.
Well, the fourth line is like fully the F stocked.
Yes.
We got plenty of options for the 4th line.
I am with you.
If you want to make it tough, if you want to make it scory, if you want to make it grindy, we got all the dudes for the 4th line.
With you on Dvorak.
Dvorak's been good.
I just think Grundstrom is found money and probably not as good as he's playing right now. And you have guys who can take that time. You have guys who can play the 4th line in the AHL right now if you wanted to use them. I like him. I'm happy for him. But in terms of like him staying for the future, I don't really see the point of that. He's 28.
Yeah, no.
He just got traded for Ryan Ellis. He's a fourth liner, and that's probably it.
If you can't find yourself another Carl Grundstrom, you got a problem.
That's a little bit of an issue. Like,
Yeah.
you get a 4th round pick every year. You couldn't create one Carl Grundstrom out of it.
Exactly.
All right. Next one. We're going to overtime. Head to allphly.com to keep watching. All right. Next one. Another one from David. Certain Flyers fans want a sexy team more than they want winning hockey. Why isn't zegras, Vladar, and all this added value enough for now? We're good. I mean, I'm good.
Why can't I want both things, David?
Yeah, I mean, like, you can want a more talented top 9 that, like, has a functional power play.
Yeah.
And still understand that.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Like, yeah, I want Risto in the lineup still. I just think, like, they should score more than never on the power play, and a little bit more talent could get you there.
They're playing well, and that's good for now. But the team could be better.
But, like, they're not winning the Stanley Cup this year.
Not with
they're
this group.
Probably not getting to the second round. Like, if they even make it at all. Yeah. All right. And again from David, we're getting to the Eastern Conference Final. Let's go Flyers if the has.
I love the enthusiasm.
Listen, I think it's possible. Like, I don't think it's totally off the table that they could get to the Eastern Conference Final.
Because the East stinks.
Because the East is bad and because they're getting good goaltending.
Yes. Good goaltending in the playoffs changes the game completely.
This isn't a cup contending team.
No.
Like, it is not. They just don't have that sort of firepower. When you look at, all right, they can't beat... They're going to have trouble with Tampa. We know they can't beat Carolina. And then you look out west and, like, I don't know, the third team in the Central is considerably better than they are.
Yeah.
Like, quite a bit.
Yeah.
All right. Next one is Shane Dooley. Good job, Kelly. I noticed there's a bit of Mitsubishi going on with the way Bill pronounces Michkov. Let's nip this in the bud, Bill. It's Michkov. I don't see the difference between either of those.
Michkov.
I'm not gonna acknowledge that.
Let's not nitpick.
There's no difference between those two things.
The holidays.
You just showed me the same thing twice.
It's the same picture.
All right. From the Gillian. Last 5 games, Grundstrom 3 goals, 1 assist. Tippett 1 goal. Or no goals, 1 assist.
Why is Owen Tippett like this?
I don't know. I just, like, I understand streaky.
Be better.
And then there's just, like, yeah, this guy who can score like 25 plus goals a year never scores on the power play.
Yeah, dude, like, what's your problem? You can score
just
goals.
Be better.
Just do better.
Like, we see you do it all the time.
Shoot
just, like,
more.
do it a little more.
And when you shoot, hit the net sometimes.
It would be nice. Between him and Sanheim, the money that Comcast might be throwing into the backboards based on just Sanheim and Tippett, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
All right. From JH, completely wrecked about Foerster. Yeah, it's a bummer, man. It stinks. He was just off to such a good start. Was okay, this is a bump, but he'll be back. No, he won't be. He's out. And finally, wrapping up from JH, Kelly, it's all goaltending. Hinkle.
I've been saying.
It is.
Oh, look, we have a functional goaltender and the team's better. What a shock. It's all goaltending. Goaltender good, team good. Goaltender bad, team bad. The end.
That's really what it comes down to. And that is all the time we have for you on PHLY Flyers today. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for hanging out. If you haven't already, you got to hit that subscribe button. Follow us right here on the PHLY Sports YouTube. Make sure you hit that like button as well. We need the likes. We're not even at 100. That's not enough. Hit the likes. It does.
It puts a roof over his wife's head.
It does. She needs the likes. Yes. I need the likes. Follow us on Twitter at PHLY_Flyers. And follow the podcast wherever you get those. Just search PHLY Flyers. That's it for us. I promise I will pay my cartwheel debt when I don't sound like this. But as you can tell, the breathing not going so well right now. So we'll get back to it when we get back to it. Until then, my name is Bill Matz. That is Kelly Hinkle. Thank you to Brenna. Be excellent to each other.
We all silly like the mayor.